Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Now I'm moving over to the Rivers State local government election and the outcome of that election. You know, this election was held on August 30, 2025, and it took place under unusual political circumstances. Now, our correspondent, Williams Uche Owaji, who covered that election, will be telling us, you know, all that happened during that procedure. Good morning, Williams. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm very fine, thank you.
All right. Now, first of all, I mean, you were on the ground in Rivers State, you know, for the elections, and you saw how everything played out. So, first of all, I'd like to know, can you describe the general atmosphere across the polling stations on that election day and what took place?
Yeah, what we witnessed that day happened to be not really perfect, but that is how it's supposed to be, the election without opposition. So everything, but the good thing we noticed was that it was peaceful. I think across the 23 AG, and the process was equally successful at some of the ward as well. So just that's just the only kind of it, generally peaceful, but there was no opposition. That is just the overall summary of the first instance that we observed that very day.
So, Williams, we want to know who were the major stakeholders, who were the major players, what actually happened, what was the performance from all the political parties that contested?
Okay, build up to the election, we all heard what happened in state issues. We are currently on the state of emergency, like they claim to be one of the mandates which the state of emergency was actually declared. The Admiral Ibas, one of his purpose in Rivers State is to return the state to prepare the state for a democratically elected or institution to take place. So the only players in this just concluded or almost concluded elections, because the result has been declared so far. The player is APC, and the APC now is APC led by Tony Okocha faction. Then the PDP took 3 LGS out of the 23 AGS. So the major players, they are the APC and the FCT minister, which take care of the 3 PDP LGS. So the major player just all the candidates that emerged or announced by the executive chairman, 20 APC came out from APC, then 3 LGAs came out and emerged from PDP. So that is just the 2 political parties that actually dominated the whole thing.
Right now, Williams, I'd like you to share your experience, you know, when you went on the field for that election. What personal encounters did you experience? What did, you know, from both the voters, the electoral staff, the observers, what was it, you know, what stood out during the coverage? Just give us your personal experience and encounter, you know, during the election.
All right, thank you. The overall encounter is not like a usual political elections. It's not. It's actually as a fallout. Yes, maybe given to the situation we currently face in Rivers State. The local government will cover Equatorial local government and Faga. Sorry, Equatorial local government and Emoa. Voters came in. Materials came in very late at most of the wards and units in Emoa and Equatorial local government. The turn-up we experienced to observe some voters apathy at some wards and units, but some of the wards we experienced a good turnout of voters as well. So around 11:30, they started coming out, voting. So like I said earlier, it was relatively peaceful, no contenders, so they are just voting peacefully at their various units because no contenders, just one candidate each of the ward across the AD area, like where the candidate, like I said, 20 LGA, APC provide 20 LGA. So there was no contender, just APC candidate, just one candidate at all the world, across the world, like visible. So the election was part, there was a low turnout of voters as some units, few units happens to be, yeah, the turnout was okay, but it was relatively peaceful. So that was just the general thing. Then other LGA from the reports was equally peaceful. So now voter apathy has some ward and units, then some of the ward there's a turnout, like in Ghana, they call it good turnout. In Emoa, there's a little turnout at some ward in the Shia as well. So that is just the environment. The Nobiako being the stronghold of the FCT where he actually cast his votes. There was a great turnout as well from what we gathered. Then Emo Ogbaegbemandoni LG, there was also a turnout. Otherwise, the rest was a little bit that just what we saw, just one-sided, like what you observed election. The three FG what is it called? So did the candidate for PDP, just PDP, the other one was for the APC. So that was maybe the reason it was that peaceful because we did not record any violence, we did not record any issue. It was widespread peaceful elections from what we gathered.
Now, Williams, we know that this election was rescheduled. It was supposed to hold in 2024, but now we're seeing that it was postponed to 2025. What really happened? Why was it postponed? And do you think what happened in 2024, reoccurred in 2025? And what was the result like? How did the parties that lost take the result and the announcement?
Okay, the election that was organized last year, it was 2024 October, I think. That one was nullified by Supreme Court when they give the order that election should be conducted in all the LGs. Nothing like what is it called, caretaker and every other method. It should be through election to elect the grassroots government. The Fubara-led government before the state of emergency was imposed actually constituted, the RISEC board actually constituted the timetable. The election was held on August the same year. They actually the fresh election after the nullified one that was overseen by the suspended governor October last year before the state of emergency. So the state of emergency, the sole administrator now dissolve the board, appoint a fresh board, which now, to their own claim, queue from the previous timetable that was released, but they only extend given to the state of emergency in the state. So they took it from the 9th of August to 30th of August. So the state is quiet. The winner has been announced yesterday, so everywhere is quiet. So everybody saw it coming. That was maybe the reality. So nothing much the opposition or this other as those loyal to the suspended governor did not participate in any way. Their presence was not seen around. The governor himself did not vote because that has raised another dust because his own LGA was an APC candidate, not PDP. He is of the PDP. So that side of the governor, the suspended governor, is silent. All his allies, followers, supporters, they were silent. They did not participate in this election in any way. So the election is just for the FCT strong supporters and the Tony Uche late faction stuff. So that was the plea. Supposed to try to vote and make meaning out of it and stuff. But at the end of the day, everybody was like saying, since it's state of emergency, we should accept the normal practice, the constitutional laid down practice, because there is ongoing state of emergency. So they will like on some other acts and the constitutional position and the process. So let's still wait to be in the participation after the election.
Right. Now, earlier on, you mentioned voter apathy. You mentioned it a couple of times in some of the local government areas. Now, I'd like to know, in your opinion, why would you say is the reason for the voter apathy, that you noticed among the people of the area, among the voters? Why the voter apathy?
Okay, that is simple to some extent. Because everything is tied to some emergency and how the whole process was reactivated. This is very one that we're talking about. The voter apathy, there was no tender. It's just only the stronghold of maybe former, like stronghold of some APC member. Or the funny thing about this election, this election I'm talking about, the key players as well in this very election that we observed or witnessed going to be to the last minute PDP members. Most of the wards and FGAs turn out to still be the same candidate and people that can pass to vote. So, and it's only faction. There's a faction in APC. There's equally a faction in PDP. The faction that supports the FCT minister and the one that supports the suspended governor, so because of that now, the faction of Emeka Biki of the APC did not participate because that candidate was not actually visibly screened or passed through the process. And the faction of the same, the suspended governor of the PDP as well, did not equally participate. So it only boils down to where if you as a candidate maybe have a strong vote in maybe some ward or stuff, so you expect some turnout of voters. Otherwise, it's that's just the reason for the voter party that you experience. No contender factions even in the same APC, faction in the same PDP. So it's just the factional group that actually came out. So we should expect voter party. So that's just the reason.
Okay, so Williams, I would like to know if you noticed any form of irregularities, misconduct, rigging, so to say, during the election.
Okay, yeah, this is not really, irregularities. Yes, we will say we observe few, but this is reset, not INEC. So if you want to really use the Electoral Act to judge it, you will say there is irregularity because there is no this INEC people that we used to know, which you have to be secret ballot process. But this one is you're seeing what the next person is thumbprinting. So that was the very first thing we observed. Try to engage the electoral officials, but if not, respond. They don't know what you actually requested for. Why is it like this? So they said they are working with what they are provided with. So you just like a own stuff, not that secret ballot system supposed process or exercise. So that happened to be the very one we observed. the LGA and Unita were covered. But much later, we saw some videos on social media where we see some units or something. But that was that, like I said, there was no visible or party agents were there. Just, I think at some word I saw the SDP agent tag at just one unit, just like that. So there was no threat to the process. It just seamless for them to do their thing. They just have a few days to decide their vote and do their thing. So the only thing that we see that is not in line with the process and guidelines is by the process of thumb printing is open. There was nothing like secret. There is some units that has space imposed from the officials, the district officials, where you pick your bylaws from there, then you move to this other side to thumb print. Just that space. If nobody is close to it, they may not see. But averagely, most you need to observe, you can see what the next person is doing. I think that is just the short fall on that aspect.
You mentioned the factions that there are, the PDP factions and the APC factions. And many people are of the opinion that the election outcome was predetermined due to some form of, collabo arrangement between APC and PDP factions. So I'd like to know from your conversations and from your interaction with the people there, would you say that people believe that the results were already settled before the polls?
Like, we may not say allegedly any longer because it has come to open. When the peace between Governor Fubara was suspended with his bosses, with the FCT minister, Uche, he actually said it, that part of the agreement is supporters, being the simplified family, should not expect anything like those who are having in mind to contest for the government should step down the plan because it's not filing in any candidate. It's part of the deal. So that one already was the news. Yes. Then, prior to the election time, it was already speculated, not even speculated, it was already known that PDP took 3 LG while APC took 20. And the same number of persons emerged as announced yesterday. So would be yes. I said it was to be the rumor or the initial claim that is actually true. The selection, most people said, or allotting of LGA to a certain person. From now as well, because by this time, they should have given them the certificate of this admitted office. It's same people. The APC 20, the LGA, the 20 LGA is candidate matched. PDP, same. So from the nomination form and the interest form down to now, no changes, same candidate that they matched. So that news or rumor has come to like the election have confirmed it. So it's true.
Yes, Williams, we know that some political voices are saying that, oh, this election did not turn out as planned, especially that of Atiku. Atiku has said that he rejects the result of the election. So we want to know what, like, his statement, does it really stand? What should we expect? Is it going to be straightforward? Are they going to, have a re-election? And what does this say for 2027 election? What is their plan? What is the way forward for Rivers State?
Yeah, this What we witness in River State recently, we know it's not INEC, because INEC have come out to already make a statement on this, because they're supposed to have conducted a by-election in River State. But because of the state of emergency, they did not conduct the by-election. That is to tell you that there is an infraction. So for Atiku to make that statement, I think is in order. But the question is, there's a difference between INEC guidelines and local, like the state RISEC guideline, maybe. But all live and get their from the constitutional lay down process. So 2027, with this trend, is posing actually a threat to what we are actually doing. It's posing a threat, because the infractions were too obviously seen. Too obviously seen, because the board that was constituted by the elected governor, as stated in the prescribed in the constitution, is the governor that is duly elected has the right and power to constitute a board like RISEC Commission, the board. But what we observe here now, that same board was dissolved by the sole administrator. Then a new board was inaugurated. That is one of the fractions. Now they believe that it's a commission, so they want to join from the previous. For the day they brought out the timetable, the revised timetable, it was on the 28th of July. The election now took place on the 30th. So it's just a month and 2-3 days. The duration, the window should have been at least 90 days. So there are some visible infractions, So if we should go by this, then it poses a threat come 2027.
So you said, if I heard you correctly, you said that the sole administrator, that's IBAS, did not participate in the election process. So I would like you to throw more light to that. Why did he not participate? And according to your words, you said that his allies too did not participate in the election. Please throw more light. Why? What happened? And what does this say for Rivers State? Knowing that, okay, he's the one representing Rivers State, and, between what happened with Wike and Fumilai, please just throw more light to that.
Yes, okay, let me, for clarity purpose, I said the suspended governor did not participate in the election, not the sole administrator. IBAS participated, not really, but he monitored the process. He made speeches for the election, having monitored the LGA. He did. He made a speech applauding the RISEC for their cordial organization and peaceful exercise. Who did not participate was the suspended governor, Similar Fubara, because he's of the PDP. His own very local government, being Okoko and Koro, local government area, did not. The candidate there is just one, like I said, and it's of the is of the APC. So there is no how you expecting a PDP candidate member to vote for APC. So that is just the reason he did not participate. And by extension, his supporters happen to be with him. Like we said, there is a faction in the PDP. The faction is not really that visible. It's just a faction who control the structure. The FCT minister tried to control the structure, but him happened to be the governor of the state, who's supposed to be the leader of the party in the state. So this issue and rancor actually accumulated to where we are today. So that is not the reason. Politically speaking, he cannot vote because he's of the PDP. He has not defected to APC, so he can't vote.
Okay.
So
Thank you, Williams.
Really?
Thank you so much, Williams. Thank you for joining us this morning on Signature Morning. That was very, very conversational. And we hope that you can join us next time. Thank you for joining, Williams.
Thank you for joining us.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.